Okay, so I wasn't going to do this, but we've now got jackhammer going directly opposite there. Yesterday we had it directly opposite in the place there, and then the rest of the day next door with huge construction going on there. So can you see the odds of this? Look, place over there being completely pulled apart, place there being completely pulled apart. Last week the entire front of the place just 2 doors down from that being completely pulled apart. Is this coincidence, or is this a mind controlled, sound controlling matrix, which I'm going to have to fold up because this happened as soon as I got up, like I've just got up, okay? And it happened even before I come down here to open the door to hit, and that is very annoying sound for the human thing. I'll have to put something in my ears, even though the mobile won't pick it up. It's an extremely agitating, extremely mind controlling, annoying, disruptive sound. But what I am going to say is just, I can only do this for a bit because it's too much for me. And that's not exaggerating either, even though the androids, the same ones that are making the noise over there, will imitate everything I say and do to make themselves appear to be the victim human. Now, look, it's not about being a victim, it's about being controlled. It's about this program that needs to be stopped around human beings, and for the real human beings to be able to distinguish between them, the others that are part of it, and the covert, secretive neighbours that are all around that are also part of it, because you notice they don't complain about it. In fact, they only complain if they think new people are coming in, because that's a threat to their mind control matrix, or their control matrix of me. Okay? But other people say they are part of my kind, my collective, this sort of thing, even on the internet. This is not true. Human beings are all separate and all isolated. The only collective is the artificial ones that are around. It's a game, and it's played at a physical level, sound and sight level like here, but it's also played at a mind level on the internet and in personal relationships. And I cannot say any more right now, because this happened even as I was getting out of bed upstairs. When I went into the hall, the sound hit me, so that no matter where you are in your house, they will bring the sound. See, if I go into the bedroom, then they'll start the sound next door, which comes then into the bedroom. If I come down here, they do it here, but of course they can also do it next door, because if they have the jackhammers and all the technical sound, it comes straight through the house exceptionally loud anyway, so it makes no difference. But they move it around. That's just to make you feel surrounded, you see, because in reality one lot of noise would be enough to control me at a sound level. But at a sight and a psychological level, to realise that you've got, like, always around you even more. See the truck coming up now? That truck appears to be like a random truck. But these random big trucks that would normally never come onto a small side street, that go up and down all day, is just not realistic, and never has been. That truck isn't even part of the construction, which shows you that it's part of this army depot. Leichhardt is really like an army depot, or an army, what would you call it? An android army depot, what would you call it? Base? I'm trying to use the words, but then again you will get the androids on the internet trying to find the words too. I see them. They mind control, they download the human mind, the human thought, the human speech, 100%. It is total takeover of the human mind. They have combined with it. The only thing you can do is try to stay separate, as much separate in your own mind as you can, but of course the idea is to take you over. See, how can I keep my own mind when I'm always conscious of either the sight and the sound around me all the time, wherever I go? Because it doesn't matter where I go in Leichhardt, which is where I am, or even into the adjoining suburbs. And no doubt if I went further, it would be all over the city. Because it is a mind control matrix. If you want to put, that sounds fancy, as though I know what I'm talking about, as though I'm somehow more advanced or something and know so. It's not like that. It's just that that's really what it is. Whether you took it at a people level to where you say, well, most of the human race now are the artificial android technical beings that are working for the artificial technical God entity, who basically is an artificial created being, and who basically believes their religion is technology. They operate the complete opposite to spiritual human beings, where they are, because I'm really spiritual but at the lowest possible level that a spiritual human being can be, I'm not qualified to really talk. So I just say what comes into my head and hope that it makes sense. That makes it look as though I'm psychic or something, but it's not really like that. Because then you will get the psychic ones on the internet proclaiming to be psychic, proclaiming to read human energy, whereas they are really technical beings reading the human mind, whereas human beings really only read what you would call energy or feeling or vibration. That's all we have, because we're so limited. We should be able to read everything, but we read nothing because we've been suppressed since the day we come into the earth. That's what it comes down to. But I'm have to stop now, because the noise will eventually disturb my mind if I stand here too long. It comes through the house. That's a plane going over. See, that also is not accidental. You'd say, well, how could a plane just come over at the appropriate time? Because when you realise it's a matrix, when you realise everything is set up and everything happens at a time, so where you are continually bombarded with this sight and sound and mind control matrix around you. But to an average person, to someone, when I'm saying it, I can't prove that, because it looks random, because they say, well, that was just the plane going over, that's just that man using the jackhammer over there doing work while you're standing here filming, complaining about it. But they don't tell you that the point is that there is always that noise, work going on. And today it even looks quiet, because normally there would be more cars on the street. See how they swap it round to where there's always something, you see. Whatever disturbs you the most, and whatever they can, get going. But basically, if you look at it, how can you be pulling down every house in the street, or not pulling down every house in the street, but totally renovating, a house in the street? And even when they do things, like, he knows that I'm filming, so he's not going to throw those bricks and things into that thing really loud. But if I wasn't filming, everything they do loud to where you can hear it inside the house too, like with everything closed. Even though they're only doing like what to a normal person looks like manual work, so it doesn't look as though they're deliberately disturbing. The jackhammers would be annoying to anyone, the technical noises, but this is all daylight hours where this goes continually on this street and around the suburb too, when you are not being totally, literally stalked and patrolled by every vehicle on the road, trucks, motorbikes and cars, and even like push bikes, and everyone on foot in an area. Almost without exception, there might be one or two other real human beings which I'm not in contact with that actually live in the area. The rest are all. So you are talking, and they bring them from all the adjoining suburbs too. They don't even live here, so all the cars that are parked everywhere where people get walking, every single house, every single business, every single building in Leichhardt is controlled by these beings. They walk in and out of them. It doesn't matter what time of night or day when you come past to let you know that you are patrolled. This you know for yourself, but it's hard to prove visually. You'd have to film 24 hours a day. You would have to show this and point it out and be able to film it too, because don't forget the sight and the sound that my head picks up is much more finely tuned than the mobile, which doesn't pick up the people on the other side of the road, and doesn't pick up the sound as intensely or as disturbingly as my mind. But it's basically a continual thing. That's what makes it almost impossible to get on top of, is that it is plane going over. These cars that even come past, they look like this is a small dead-end street. These cars do not belong on the street. They just come up and down. That's why, but to me pointing it out in a video, it looks as though everything is relatively okay, even quiet at times. But these cars do not belong. That car that just went past does not belong on the street. It will stay down the end, and when I come inside it will go back down and drive away. It does not belong here. Most of these cars, even all on the other side of the road, should be parked down the back laneway anyway. You know. But it doesn't matter. But I'm saying that, okay, so those cars opposite do belong in that. See, that car went back. See, the same car. I just proved that, didn't I? See that white car that went down? It didn't even wait for me to go inside. It actually just, well, that's right, they don't care most of the time. They just double back round. But I'm actually thinking, because they're filming, those two old people that look perfectly innocent walking down there, older than me even. How could you point a finger at them and say that they are artificial patrolling beings? They are. So sorry to tell you. I should be saying so sorry for myself to tell you, because the thing is, well, there's my garbage tin on the other side of the road that's been missing for a week. They finally brought it back. They're showing it to me. It's on the other side of the road. I can actually see the number. It won't come out in the mobile. See how they've got all these lined up here to say we control you. We even control the garbage tins. I've had to drag that one that's not even mine, a little one that's just a spare little one that's half the size, because they keep taking the garbage. That's just the petty mind control that mean nothing to me really. But if I was in a real world, that would be disturbing, because you'd say, why are the neighbours being you know, petty and being bullying in a silly kind of way. But also you do need your garbage tin to put your garbage out. But that is my bin, right in front. See, they're letting me know that they've dragged it right in front of that place where they'll do construction tomorrow. See, that place is totally open. You won't be able to see it. But that front door is open because they just bring the workmen in there when they feel like making the noise, when they think that my vibration might be slightly better. Or in other words, when my mood is feeling slightly better. Because the vibration of the human being is what gives them more power in the actual matrix, or in the earth, if you want to look at it that way. That's how it works. That's what it is, you see, because everything's frequency and vibration and energy, which we know, which is what I learnt when I first became literally persecuted, you could say. And I'm going to use that word. Some people say targeted or whatever, but it is a persecution, because it is, and I'm not saying this for sympathy, I'm just saying that it is deliberate to bring your whole life down, so that you, and basically it is deliberate, so it's not like it's just like accidental and you're a victim because a few people are mean. No, it is a deliberate program. Because it is two completely different types of beings, you know, and even three, if you wanted to say that a lot of human beings, like myself, are so suppressed that we're in almost a traumatized state, to where, you know, you are suffering from what they call post-traumatic stress disorder, which is what I've actually had for the last, you know, almost probably 8-9 years now, probably 8 years, if I was accurate. And it's ongoing, and they want to keep it going. That's why they bring in everyone around you and all this sight and sound disturbing show or control around you, that is to keep that trauma going. Because they started sometimes with a personal relationship, and then they bring in more if they think you are getting over the trauma of a negative android personal relationship or interaction. When I say it's usually ongoing, an interaction only disturbs you if you're a normal human being for a little while. You usually get over it. But if it's a close relationship, or one that you have to deal with all the time, or even if it's people around you that are around you all the time, even if you're not speaking to them all the time, like neighbours and things, they're around you and they're part of it. Well, that fella that is doing work there next door is now coming out of the place here. Can you see that? And my garbage tin, which has been missing for a week, they've plonked right out in front on the other side of the road there. That will not come out. I have to go right out and show myself. I'll have to go and get it. But it says number 3. See, I'm number 334 to 36 Henry Street. Some people say you shouldn't say the address, but it doesn't matter now. But see how they got all the bins lined up, and even the ones next door here stuck right in front of my place. You won't be able to see that because I don't want to go out. But that's just to let you know you're surrounded too, because everyone is part of it. They're all part of this mind control matrix. Most of them are conscious of it. They're conscious of their suppression of me. Whether they're conscious of what belief system or what God they're really serving is another thing. They may be in a small kind of group or community, shall we say, even around here, that is there like their religion, but they may not be aware that they are serving the God that controls this world, that it is essentially a spiritual domain, and it's essentially a spiritual back and forwards pull and push frequency vibration battle, you could say, at a real level. And